think it's a couple minutes past 4, so why don't I call the meeting to order? And again, Rosemary, thank you for taking minutes. Always appreciate it. Okay. And does anyone see no public right through that? Communications, any communications people have to share? No, it's been kind of a quiet. And that's typically we'd be actually either attending or hosting a joint library board meeting this month.
That's right.
Very quick.
Yes.
Yeah. So moving
Minutes.
along, when you're ready,
Ready?
might have a motion to approve the minutes of our August meeting.
So moved.
Catherine and who?
Hallie.
And a
Hallie.
second. Thank you, Hallie. Catherine.
Uh-huh.
Okay, they were emailed to us the other day, I think yesterday. And is there any suggestions for changing, editing, correction? Making the job easy. Going once, going twice. Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Okay, we have minutes. Thank you. Thank you, Rosemary. And now you want to turn it over to Jennifer. We're lightning speed here.
I know, real quick here. I just want to make sure everybody is here. Because like I said, a lot of times I see Matthew in the wings here. Okay, so talk about statistics. So a couple of changes, and I'll be honest with you with some of the things that I had mentioned at the last meeting. It's going to be a work in progress. We may actually change possibly the entirety of how this all looks because every month we have a different change going on. I had mentioned last time that our programming was going to act a little bit differently or be seen a little bit differently. Hold on one second, I see Matthew. Okay, there we go. So what I had spoken last time was our programming, we were going to count what you were going to see each month going forward was you were going to see the actual live viewers when the program was during that time. So if the program was at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., all the people that were active at that time were counted. So you'll notice in community services down where it says August live, those numbers reflect those live participants. So we had 19, for example, 19 programs and 428 total people live watching. I did tell you too that it was going to be rather difficult to show you within that per month how many people would view the recorded, because what we want to do is record and let people watch after the fact, after the live performance, but we want to capture about a month. That is what the State Library is requesting us to do. Capture 1 month of viewers watching the recorded version, not the live. So July, you're always going to see the month prior because that would be a full month of, tallies. So what you're seeing here now is all of July's 1 full month of recorded viewership on those programs. And if you see, they're pretty interesting. We've had a lot of recorded, a lot of viewers watching after the live performance.
Those numbers are amazing.
Aren't they amazing? And what that tally is YouTube, it's our Facebook page, and it's also our Instagram page. So any viewership on those, it actually does the algorithm for us. We don't have to do it separately, which is very helpful.
Not to get too far into it, but are there
Sure.
some programs that account for like a quarter of those because they're so popular, or is it pretty evenly spread over the programs?
Well, I will tell you, if you notice, July recorded views, we started a program called Librarians Learn, and it was geared
That's
towards teenagers, but everybody's watching it. And what it is it's showcasing, librarians being able to try something new and learning how to make mistakes while they're doing it. So you see, I wouldn't say full on failure, but they're trying things and they're trying to encourage teenagers that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail at things. You just, keep practicing and learning. And it's really interesting because some of the comments and feedback we received have been pretty positive, and they've been fun performances as well. So we've seen a huge viewership on that, which, we were expecting maybe some teens to view it here and there, but the response has been pretty well. So, so I don't know if you have questions about that specifically, how that's working right now about recorded versus live.
I don't have a question about that, but I do have a question about this week's accumulating talk by Joy Harjo, the One Book, One
Yes.
Region.
Mhm.
And I did Zoom in. Was that through, do you count that attendance, or was it Connecticut College? I mean, I don't know what the final number was, but by the way, she did a fabulous job.
Yes, I did hear she had, there was over 400 people on the Zoom in attendance live. We were unable to film the actual event, so we are not utilizing those numbers this year, just because we weren't able to film. Sean was going to film, but we had some issues with her production people. It didn't seem worth the time to actually, even though we were really excited about the program, there was very little we could use over time. And there was only snippets that we'd be able to show rather than the full program.
I wondered about the opportunity to allow fully shown. I can see why she did not.
And we went back and forth with it for a good 2 months about changing what our release form looked like and what we were able to show, and they were concerned about editing. And so we were just like, well, I think we're going to just do the live performance and have people really participate. So we went heavy on the publicity instead, but still 400 people for a Zoom is quite amazing. And I know it wasn't just regional. There was people from outside that were there watching beyond the regional border. So.
How does that work when you have 400 people? I mean, are the people like on the screen minuscule? I mean, I can't imagine.
I think they did it in presentation style. So she was doing, they had it more of a presentation rather than, having everybody join and ask a million questions. It was, her presentation, and that was it. It was like a viewership. So.
You're not going to believe this, but actually in April, I think it was, I did a presentation for the New England Library Technical Services Group, and they moved it to Zoom, which would have been up in Worcester or someplace, had it been live. And I had like 467 or something, some crazy number of people watching me. I couldn't see them at all. Okay. There was like a manager in between me and them, and they could hear me, but I could not hear them. And that's the same what I saw the other night, that you could send in a question via chat or something, but there's like a house manager that manages the presenter and the audience, and you don't see the audience. You just see your own slides basically, or whatever. Yeah. Thank you. But I could see this little number. It said like, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good to see that so many people still participated, because, I mean, we've had, for Brian Stevenson, there was 1,000 people in the audience, but I mean, for Zoom, for people to actually go on and watch a performance, I think that was really good attendance rate.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But, yeah. So.
I digress. I would have loved to see those numbers go into your stats, but.
I know. I felt like, it would be good, because we did have, Jessica Franco and Ann Campbell have certainly been, they are two of our librarians who have been, participating in this project for a very long time. In fact, Jess has done amazing work with some of the programming. So we're counting the programming that surrounded the actual last event. So if there's any participants, it was for those that we had on, on site virtually via Groton Public Library. So we're capturing those numbers instead. But yes, I'm really excited. I have to tell you, even though all this stuff is happening with COVID, for many years, I, talked to Sean about how we can incorporate our library programs and the recorded views, because to me, we have GMTV, and while Sean reports everything, as you can see in some of his things, like, let me give you an example, video services, how many programs were produced or hours aired, YouTube views, that's encapsulating, the town, the whole town, not just the things that we do at the library. So I always said, like I told you last time briefly, that I've always been excited to explore combining not only the in-person programs, but the viewers that are actually watching after the fact, and how to do that, because that would greatly increase our numbers. A lot of people don't want to come out during the winter and come to a program, but they'll watch it on TV if we have it on there. So, you're capturing two audiences, but they're still participating. And I'm really excited that we're able to, well, we're kind of forced at this point to showcase that. But I mean, I think the numbers are really good, considering we're combining both of them. If you combine the July and the August, we have a lot of people still participating, whether it's, online or, recorded and in person. So there's a good variety of formats, and the attendees, I'm glad that they're participating still. We're always a little leery about the virtual programs, because people are chained to their computers all day, who possibly wants to come to a library program, but they're watching. So I'm very excited about that. We did have Kathleen, who is our circulation supervisor. We are very fortunate too that with the few computers that we have, we're able to register people, so we can capture how many people are using the computers daily. And if you notice where it says computer use, she popped in the quantities of how many computers we have, and then how many times they were used this month. So that, I think, is great, that we can actually capture that number instead of estimating it every month. And then if you see total searches for Google My Business, we have doubled since last year from 11,000 to 25,000. That means people are looking at us a lot on the internet. And I have to say, I've received many 5-star reviews in the last 2 months. I get alerts for that, who's giving us feedback, or giving us 4-star reviews. And so that's pretty interesting to get that analytic data from Google. I don't think there was anything other than that I wanted to point out. Any questions about statistics?
Okay, hearing none, if you would like to move on to your report, Jennifer, whenever you're ready.
The first thing I wanted to know, and I did not put in here, and I apologize, the diversity, equity, inclusion training that is being offered through the town of Groton. All staff are currently required to take this training. It's very good training. We've had different sessions. There's 3 parts, and we're in the thick of one cohort of staff going through it. And there's going to be another section coming up in October, and there's going to be some nighttime trainings in November and December. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up is not just that staff is getting some great development opportunities, but the town is offering this to all community members. It's not just for staff. And if you're interested in attending any of the series, or you want to go to all of them, I do have there's a Survey Monkey that has all the listed continuing development on this, and you can join in and participate if you like. It's free and it's for all community. So I can send out the link if you're interested. Maybe I just
Yes.
will send it out otherwise.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
that'd be great.
Jennifer, if
Yes.
this is open to the entire community, would it make
Mhm.
any sense to put a brief notice, a paragraph or two in the Groton Times?
Well, we're not hosting it, so I'd probably, I believe that did go out. I think there was a newspaper article on it, but I will find out from Jessica Patterson. She's she's with Parks and Rec, and she does other marketing, and she's the one who actually coordinated this whole program with Jerry Locken over at Parks and Rec.
Okay.
So I will find out from her if they've already disseminated that information through the papers. I know that they do want to get the word out, especially to community members, because it's very interactive, and they just want to be able to offer this to the.
Groton Times is a great medium because you don't have to pay for it and it covers the entire town.
I believe they
User,
did.
the reader doesn't
yeah.
have to pay for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will follow up with her to see if it's in there, but I will send the direct link to all.
If you're going to do that, then you probably also want to consider the Mystic Times.
Mhm.
Part of it, because they cover separate areas.
Right, even though I live in Groton, I don't
We
get
don't
the
get it.
Times, I get the Mystic one.
Thank you, Haley.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go
Yeah,
figure.
that would be great. I'll let her know. Okay. So that's underway. Print management system that I've been talking about for some time is finally here, and next week it will be installed. Very excited. I think I told you the wireless service has been down forever, and we have a lot of customers coming in wanting to print out documents from their mobile phone and even from their home because they don't have a printer. And we have had to tell them in the past that it's been, disrupted because of the company that went belly up, basically. So as of next week, we will be back to business, and people will be able to not only do printing in the library, but they will also be able to wirelessly print again. So very happy about that. What else has been going on? Believe it or not, summer reading program came to a close at the end of August, and we had, quite a number of participants, but nowhere near what we usually do. We made it very passive this year just because, we were initially in June, we do a big, opening day type ceremony, and everything was shut down when we usually start it. But we continued, and we connected with the teachers, during the summer to promote what we were doing. And so there was participation, but as everything's gone on COVID-19, you just gotta, plug along, see what works, and go from there. So we're hoping next year it won't be as passive and it'll be a little more interactive, so we can actually engage with the children. Saturday hours are starting back up again. We've always, for the last couple weeks, we've been doing 10 to 1 p.m.s, but now we're going to be doing 10 to 5s. We're seeing a little bit of an increase in our Saturday traffic, and so we thought it necessary to open up some more hours for the community. So that will be happening this Saturday. And our book drop, although we didn't make a big, huge splash about it, it is open. People are very happy that it's open and they don't have to come inside. So that hasn't been too overwhelming, and I'm really happy about that because of the way we've had to quarantine items. But I think last time I told you we had over 10,000 items out, but now we're down to only about a couple hundred from the old materials.
Really?
So Yeah, we did quite a job getting them all back and putting out notices and whatnot. That's another reason why we made sure that we didn't open it too soon. We didn't want the weekend, the book drop to be filling up on the weekends and not being able to, we'd have to monitor that like every hour because it was, we got quite a number of things back. So those are the couple things happening now. And vacant library aide position, we had somebody who left prior to the closure, but we're seeing that that library aide position would be great if we could fill it because, we're getting a little busier now and we're still processing that contactless service with the bagging of the books. And so it's taking a little time and we're anticipating possibly that somebody may be leaving. And so we'll need an extra hand to help us out with the processing of the materials. So we're hoping to do that the next month.
Would that be full-time position or part-time?
No, just a part-time position. Yeah.
Is it advertised, Jennifer, in a way? Because typically, I mean, not always, but I get many library directors who will ask me to share an open position with students, and we could put it a little announcement.
Oh, absolutely. No, we have not put it out yet, but I do plan, one of the interesting things too about talking about our diversity, equity, and inclusion committee was, really targeting in the employment area. And, we need to think of more strategic ways to get our job openings out there. We've relied a lot on just the town website, and we've expanded now to things like Indeed.com, and these things come up in LinkedIn as well. But we need to go a little further into the community, I think, to post these. So once we have it, I will definitely be sending it to the schools and, in the location. I mean, this type of position needs, I believe it's high school diploma. So we'll be sending them out even to the schools because once they graduate, and maybe not this one because they're not there yet, but we'll be looking at other avenues in which to post
So
job
if
applications.
once you have
descriptions.
it, if you want to send it to Hallie and myself, between the two of us, we have,
Get it out to our students.
you're right, just put it as an announcement in our classes.
Yeah.
We could reach a wide number of potential applicants.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions about any of that? All right, so I'll go on to new business. Very excited that our number one volunteer, and I say number one because Terry Ziegler has been with us for a very long time, and she's done amazing work for the library. And she does all of our homebound deliveries. And I'd say, that's probably a bad thing to say homebound deliveries because she is not a deliverer of books. I mean, she goes in and prior to COVID, I mean, she gets to know these people like nobody's business. And through the whole COVID situation, she was calling them weekly to ensure that they were doing all right, about their care, what was happening. She's just an amazing volunteer, and she does this just, she just loves the community. And so I'm really happy that she is receiving this Daily Point of Light Award. And it's all also due, in fact, to Kim Ballantyne, who is one of our librarians and works exclusively with Terry on this homebound program. And they make up a really good unit of working together. And Kim wrote an amazing letter for all that Terry does for the library, and I'm excited that it's showcased in this award here, and she's going to be getting a picture and being posted on the website, the Daily Point of Light Award website, and I don't know, she was very excited. It is, yes.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Is Terry?
But what they do is it's a national award, and then they have these daily awards that they recognize for contributions made to the community. So this is one of the daily awards, but it's via a national award program.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah, and
yeah.
is she any relation to Lee Ziegler, who used to work at
Yes,
JPL?
that was her mother. Hmm.
Oh,
Yes,
I went to school with her.
yes, that was her mother.
I'm not that old.
Yeah, between her and her sister, they're both
Deborah.
delightful
Yeah.
people. Yes, just
Yeah,
wonderful.
I know Deborah. I've never met Terry. That's nice.
So,
To the board, if you would like, I would get a congratulations card to her and mail it to her on behalf of the board, recognizing her.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
very nice.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
She
idea.
would be delighted to
Yeah,
receive something like that. Yes,
Sure. Maybe Jennifer, you could send me her mailing address if that's,
I'd be happy to.
okay, because I'll definitely get a card to thank her on behalf of the board for her
Sure.
volunteer
Sure.
service.
Thank you, Murray.
Sure.
The circle of friends. So, COVID lockdown means that they can't do the fundraising things that they love to do. And I'm talking the little fundraisers they have with, putting pennies in the coin box, which we're not doing, or things like doing small little bake sales or film and fundraiser events. The fact that that's all closed down, and the book sales. We haven't done any big book sales. So they have decided to do some passive things that would be almost contactless. They've pursued more things like they came out with offering new book bags, which are just amazing, and pins and car magnets. They've got a whole greeting card sale going on in these beautiful boxes. They're from a company, I think it's Osborne. And so they're offering those for people to buy, and you can buy those at the front desk. And they're doing fairly well with that. And recently we decided to do, instead of having big book sales, because we're concerned about the contact and, the touching of the books, we're booking appointments. So people can go into our small book sale room, and Kim will book an appointment with whoever wants to shop in there. And it's just one person per 30 minutes. So they can go in and purchase some items. And that's been working out pretty well. So if you're interested, you just call the library and book an appointment.
Does that mean you're taking donations again of books?
So people have been bringing in donations, but little bits of donations. I hesitate to put a big sign out because our sale room is very full. And two, we've already noticed by having the book drop open, we've already started receiving things in our book drop of donations. And so I hesitate to put this big, announcement out. If anybody's bringing them in, we'll just say we'll take them, but we're not gonna do a big hurrah about it. Don't want to be overrun by books. Yeah, so questions about Circle of Friends or anything?
When you ask for donations or when people donate books, are they usually books that are sellable, or do they tend to be things that people just want to get rid of and they're hoping somebody would?
Yes.
Yeah, of course, all of the above.
Yeah.
We go through them. Like the first day we had the book drop open, we had like maybe a quarter of a cart because no one knew it was open. But I'd say 75% of those items went to the trash because they were moldy and they were gross. So that's kind of typical. But we get some real gems. I mean, the people that are excited to bring new stuff in and say, I've just read it and it's only been touched once, they want to bring it right to the front desk and give it to us. So that's good. So we take new stuff and we dispose of the old stuff. I did want to alert everybody to the mobile COVID-19 testing site. That's going to be, it's by Yale New Haven Health. They're going to have it at the Groton Senior Center. on September 24th. That just came out recently. And there is information out there on the 24th from 9 to 3:30. However, there's going to be an additional one in October. So if you know anybody that needs to get tested, they can do it right here, you know, in the library, well, senior center parking lot area. So that'll be coming up.
Is that by appointment or can anybody go?
Anybody can go. There is, it's a mobile, just mobile testing. You just, you know, come in line and they'll take you. They didn't say anything about appointments.
Okay.
Is this a 3-day turnaround, 15-minute turnaround, 2-week turnaround for results?
That is a very good question. That I do not know. They didn't say that. They just said it's a mobile testing site, but I would assume that it would be
I know
at least 3 days or more.
Aline was tested some time ago, and it took over 2 weeks for the results to come back, which was kind of pointless for the.
Right.
It's not surprising. I know the only quick turnaround ones that I know of are the ones where you have to go in when you're expecting to go into a procedure, but those are only for that reason. I know the regular testing sites are a bit longer, you know, at least 5 days.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, I had one at L&M before a procedure, and it was you had to go in 3 days before because that's how long it took for them to get the results back. Before.
okay, that's good because this one is connected. It's L&M, well, Yale New Haven Health, but via L&M. So it is probably the same. And if you haven't taken the test before and are very nervous about it, we have a little PSA that our librarians did that you can watch before you go if you're very nervous. That's right on GMTV YouTube, so hopefully it'll.
Back.
You want to get a sense of what it's like. That would be good. Anything else new business wise?
It's new or old, but I just wanted to, it's about the expanding the remote Wi-Fi. Monday
Yes.
morning, I was, I had to be someplace early, and it was 6:30 in the morning. I was driving past the library. I must have double take because I could see, it looked like a man, large, sitting at the picnic table if you're looking at the library, to the left of the center garden.
I know exactly what you're saying.
And all I could assume was that, and he looked, I mean, here I'm driving, but I'm kind of glancing, and I glanced again, and really looked like he was working, that he was, and I thought he was using the Wi-Fi.
Oh, yes. In fact, we have had a number of people, they've asked, which is nice, not about the Wi-Fi, but even we have an electrical outlet outside, right outside our doors, and somebody needed to charge their phone while we were closed. And it was on a Sunday. And Michael, our assistant director, has been coming in to ensure that the papers are put into the library because our book drop was closed for some time. And so the gentleman had asked, he's like, is it okay if I use, you know, this outlet because I don't have access right now and I need to get my, you know, my phone charged? And he was like, no problem. I mean, you know, if we were open, we would have allowed it. So, but we're seeing some activity, but they're staying open enough that we can see, you know, that they're either using Wi-Fi or they're utilizing an outlet where they're charging.
Just isn't something more the library can do or the town can do. It seems sad that 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah.
And sitting out there. That's all I could assume he was. It looked like he was purposely doing work at the picnic table. You know,
Well, there's a couple of things that are actually in place right now. Some of these things, I don't, as you know, take a little time because with quotes and getting all these things ready, but I did mention, yes, when our internet is better, which should be very soon, there'll be more access. You know, right now the access points are really terrible. You know, you have to go to certain zones, even outside, even inside, forget about outside. And it's just not good service. And so once our new firewall is installed and we have better with the servers and our internet is better, you'll be able to access it a little more, it'll be more readily available outside. So they don't have to sit on top of the library in order to utilize the Wi-Fi. We don't shut it off. So I guess some libraries have taken it upon themselves to shut off their Wi-Fi when they're closed. We don't do that. And I don't see why we would, because people need the access.
Do you
Especially
use
now,
boosters?
you know. So yeah, we wouldn't do that. But like I said, we don't make a big deal about it now, putting in our newsletter, like use our Wi-Fi outside, because it's not very stable. You know, I don't want people to be vested in, you know, when we're closed in a test or something and then the thing crashes. So I'd rather it be a little, you know, once we get that installed, maybe that'll be a better time to tell people that, you know, the access is available outside. Just want to make sure it's steady. But yeah, so that's one thing that I think will alleviate some of that. I'm more concerned about as it gets colder.
I was just thinking the winter weather. Yep. And what can we do?
No, that's all the questions. It's one thing that, you know, I meet up with staff on a regular basis. We talk about these things like, what's next? What's next? Because, you know, we were fortunate in many ways that it was nice outside and people can gather outside, or people can, you know, use wireless or whatever they're doing outside. But as it's getting colder, people are going to want to be inside. We've already had a number, you know, some people, I wouldn't say it's been crazy, but people asking about, you know, being able to tutor inside or use a meeting space inside. And we're just not ready for that yet. You know, it's an enclosed space, and these meeting rooms we have are very tight. It's not like they're huge. And I mean, you know, these are some of the challenges. We do want to open the facility, but at the same time, you got to worry about, you know, the distancing and making sure that they're constantly wearing their masks, or, you know, so it's as the winter is upon us, we've got a lot of questions to deal with. So, don't have, I think, any other new business, just some old business related items. Matthew, you know, we talked at length about census final days. I can tell you that we have the MQAs, which are the people that represent the census, going out and actually, you know, doing programs where they're trying to assist people to sign up for the census. They were in Noank at Carson's last weekend, I should say. And yesterday and today they were at the sub base at the commissary area. And then today they were at the Dolphin Mini Mart off base. So they've been targeting a lot of the places that have lower response rates. I do have a meeting with them on tomorrow, actually, and we're going to just discuss any other locations. I was asked, well, actually the whole committee was trying to find out where the homeless populations, where the pockets are in town, so they could, you know, talk to some of the population at their locations that they're residing at or congregating at. And
many of them show up on Monday evenings at Faith Lutheran Church for the Groton
yes,
community meals.
absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because in talking to the community policing officer the other day, I was asking her about in town, you know, where these pockets, more of the pockets are located. And she did suggest that would be the best avenue to, you know, go there instead of where they're congregating, you know, sleeping. It would be best to go at that Faith Lutheran. So that was my next suggestion to our committee, that would be the next place to go.
I will get, if you want, I will get you Don Fulver's phone number and contact
Yes.
information. He's
That would
kind
be
of
great.
leading Groton Community Meals.
That would be terrific, because that was going to be the suggestion. And the other thing I was going to bring up, as Matthew and I discussed at one point, is, I am curious as well, some of the shopping plazas, I don't know if, why, and when we can get into some place like Big Y or outside, but I'm certainly going to ask that question at the meeting tomorrow.
It might be
Tomorrow,
touching base with the Homeless Hospitality Center in New London. They have an outreach person who goes around and looks for people who are outside, and I'm sure she would know where where people are, and
Where?
might
I
be-
think I actually have her. I didn't even think to call her, because immediately I was like, oh, New London, but that's a good point, because
yeah, Groton contributes to the budget.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
Groton actually has the last statistics I looked at, I think it was 37% of the people sleeping there listed Groton as their last town of residence.
Oh, okay.
And Cambria Moore, I don't know if she's still there, but she was the outreach coordinator as of, I don't know, a year ago.
Okay, I can certainly check with her and see. if she's got any. That would be great.
a federal judge put a hold on the Census Bureau's decision to cut off the census at September 30th. Tomorrow is the date for the court hearing to hear arguments. So I think we need to plan for closing September 30th and hope that we may, and have a plan B ready to make use of the extra 30 days or 31 days if we get them.
Sure.
Jen,
Well, I would like that information about the Faith Lutheran Church. Yes, Hallie.
I'm not aware of this in Groton. Is there a place that's been identified where the homeless have been congregating and sleeping?
Well, I do know that there's where the off the Pequannock Road where Matthew is saying about the Faith Lutheran. The town, there is a section over there that I guess there is a homeless population back in that area.
In the woods.
There used to be one, and I'm not I believe behind the Walmart there was one, and there used to be one behind Benny's too, I thought, but I don't know if it's
between the Walmart and the Stop and Shop. I don't know if it still is, but it used to be a popular place.
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with what's going on in New London, but I really am ignorant about what's happening in Groton.
Yeah, I know. And when we did, the census representative did ask about this. I know that Mayor Hendrick in the city was, putting them in contact with the policing over there and some other organizations to get some more information for her.
There's a family shelter in Mystic, the one that Lisa Tepper Bates used to be the director of. They changed their name and I can't remember the name of it now.
Is this the one that it's just for women and children?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Might be Home Again.
Home Again, yeah.
Shelter.
Okay.
Is
Catherine,
that
what did you?
Warm Shelter? Used to be Mystic Area Shelter for Homeless, MASH, but now it's Warm, maybe?
Yeah. They used
Oh,
to
right, MASH, that's right. Okay.
They have houses around. There's one in the city of Groton, unless it's no longer a MASH house, but I know that they had one down off of Mitchell Street.
Okay.
But that's permanent housing.
Well, I will certainly look into those three, especially I'll get the context, get the information for the census people. But overall, we're doing well. And Matthew, I did want to tell you, I went onto the website, the census site, and I know, with the statistics that are being thrown out here, there, and everywhere, there is on the Census 2020 site, there is a really, really interactive map. not just of the tracks, but it really delves into how the whole entire country is doing. And then you can denote by state, county, city, township. I mean, it really gets finite. And what it said today is that Groton's total self-response rate, meaning mail, phone, and internet total, we're at 70.7%. And I just received something from the Census Committee saying that the 3 low tracks that have been trending for some time, the Groton Long Point, the Navy, et cetera, those have, while they're not overwhelming increases, they have seen self-reporting percentages go up, like by 0.3, 0.5, 0.7. So to me, it seems that we are still pushing the issue, maybe not to the, picketing outside, but people are still paying attention, which is kind of interesting considering all the stuff that's going on. They are keying in that they still need to respond. And, as Matthew, we talked, every little increase counts for this census.
Did you ever determine what the denominator was? Was it the 2010 census?
So we are 4.4% of the final tally of 2010. We are above that by 4.4%. So where we're at now is definitely has been increased from the 2010 census.
That's terrific. I chatted actually today with Leanne Aubry, one of our counselors,
Yes.
about her impression, given her real estate perspective of our population now compared to 2010. And she made a seat of the pants estimate that we're probably 3,000 to 4,000 more than we were in 2010. So if the 2010 census was 40,000 and a couple,
Yep.
then we would be, according to her seat of the pants, 42 to 44,000. So when we look at the 91% total reporting that Liz Porter told me about, if we're using as a denominator the 40,000 figure from 2010, we're around 3,500 short of being perfect.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, we've got whatever the increase is. So we still have, in my opinion, 4,000 to 6,500 more potential people to
Sure.
reach out to. So I hope we'll plan for the extra 31 days.
Yeah. Yes. And I will tell you though, I'm firm in my belief by reading all of this information that Groton Long Point is probably the most important, believe it or not. I mean, the homeless, I'm glad they're looking into that and everything, but again, the seasonal homes are what really need to be reported, and people are not. Marie, when we spoke, you said you had no idea that you had to report, that people would have to report a seasonal home.
Right. So one of our RTM members who lives in a neighborhood, or the RTM members, he has
Is
a
there music playing?
Pardon me?
Oh, geez, that was you. Okay, don't do that.
Who was that? Anyway, one of my neighbors.
I lost, and now I've lost my,
Battery
thank you.
connected to S8MFUMG.
He owns a seasonal home in Rhode Island, and he didn't
Thank you.
realize when I put out the notice
It's
to
okay, I
him,
no longer have sound.
he
Battery 5.
went on to do the seasonal thing, but he ran into some kind of problem with it, and he's an RTM member. So I don't know how well it really works. He said he followed the instructions, but so I don't know, maybe just to ask if those instructions were.
Yeah, well, I still can't hear anybody. Crap.
You can hear her.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see if there's anything I can do for her. I don't think so.
Connected to.
She can't hear, but I'm putting her on mute. Yeah. No, it's true. I sent directions direct from, the census that said how to exactly step by step do it. So maybe she did share that. I did click on all of the things prior to sending, it seemed valid. Maybe there was just a discrepancy. Maybe there is an error within the census itself.
It'd be good to kind of step that through with someone is a seasonal homeowner who wants to do it, to see if, if it's flawless. Yeah.
But it's interesting, isn't it, that I didn't know that
I can't hear
information
anything.
either.
No.
I
Right.
had no idea. So,
Battery 5.
that is really what we need to hone in on, I think. Because those are the
Right.
ones that are lower reporting, and it's only because of that. I mean, they think that they're doing
Okay, yes, speaker.
they think that they're doing it, but
Yeah, and many of the people may not even be in their seasonal homes now. They might have to be contacted in a second.
exactly. Yes, exactly. Oh, sorry. I'm just looking to see if there's any way I can help Hallie. Anyhow, so in any event, I know there's, once we have our meeting, and I'm sure that that's going to be brought up too, is if in fact things move along and we have another month, we may have to target some other areas or more effectively. So.
Right.
Are Navy people being counted as Groton residents this time?
That I don't know. There is a particular way that they're doing it. I mean, we have somebody from the Navy who's on the committee who is coordinating with that. And I think that's why they, another low case one is always the Navy, just because of where they're coming from, how long they're staying. I believe it's based on how many months maybe they are determined to live here. If they're, leaving or how long they're staying. But hopefully they were successful today. I'm getting some people signed up for the census. So, I mean, I find it really interesting that even though it's been extended, at least till September, and we're hoping for October, that people are still paying attention, because it's, this has been since like March. And in 2010, we didn't have the pandemic that's been kind of disrupting everything. So I think having bigger numbers is great. So,
Thank you. Thank you so much for everything you're doing.
absolutely. And thank you for, setting the fire. We're still doing stuff at the library, asking staff to, ensure that they, ask those questions, and and computers available, if they need something. We have had a number of people come in asking, not understanding how they're supposed to hook up, or one person actually came in with their the mail-in one, the form, and I said, it's no offense, but it's so much easier to do it online, and if you're comfortable, I can show you how to do it. And it takes like 3 seconds, whereas the paper form is quite lengthy. And they were pretty amazed how quick it was. So, but we'll continue to do that. So, and, continue to market it. So, very happy about that. Last but not least, we've been going through this for the last couple of months about policy changes. And I know it confused a lot of you with some of the verbiage that I put out. And then you had such great feedback and questions that when I went back to the team and I was going to reevaluate everything, I said, maybe what we should do is just focus on one thing rather than 3 things. And we were all set. I was set to put that out to you. And I'm telling you, we're going to put it on hold for a moment, because what we found in our system, some of the things that we want to do within our library software system, some of the items we have to connect with the other libraries to ask them if they want to do global changes or if we're going to do them separately. Global changes means if we decided to, renew books twice, we want to ask if any of the other libraries are interested in doing that, because it would be very easy to switch that on for all of us. But if we don't want to do that, there's some little coding kind of things that we have to do. So it's a little more lengthy than just saying, let's just do things. So I just want to put it on hold so I can connect with the other libraries and have a discussion. We're talking on the 25th. And I'm going to get some more information about, global changes and seeing it's much easier for our customer, the Groton customer, to try to have the same things happening at Groton Public, Bill Memorial, and Mystic and Noack, and even Waterford, because we share the same customer. So I'd rather talk to them first and get a sense of what we can do, as a unit, rather than, individually. It just confuses people. So we'll check that first, and then we'll go to the next steps after that. But we'll do it, one step at a time, rather than having 3 changes occur at once. We'll do one at a time.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Nothing's easy.
No, you think something so simple as that, and then, then you're like, oh, all these other things. You're in a consortium. You should maybe check with them and see, not that they have to tell us what to do, but it's just nice to have a balance of everybody doing the same thing. And if that doesn't work, then we'll do our own thing. So anyhow.
Thank you.
Good. Is there any other old business or any kind of business? Okay. Hearing none, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at whatever time it is. I don't have a clock in front of me.
It is 4:59.
9.
Oh, hey.
Good, we're good.
Okay. I'd like to make the motion to, or who would like to, Barb, okay, and second? Catherine, thank you. Okay, so open for the 19th, this Saturday?
Oh, yes, 10 to 5.
10 to 5.
Okay.
Sorry, the thing is reverberating. We are open 10 to 5 this coming Saturday, correct?
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Yeah.
I know, it should be interesting. We're going to have one of our substitutes. We're bringing back our substitute librarians on, on Saturday basis to get them used to our new norm and see what it's like. So we'll have an additional person on Saturdays to help us out.
Good.
So, well, it's nice to see all of you. I hope you're staying safe.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Okay, thank you.
Be well, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Everybody?